some information to go along with that first quarter report card. Some important things for students to know. So the first is so you know what you're looking at. So this is a copy of a report card, of a student's report card. And what you can see on here is your grades by quarter. So you'll see each class listed in this section of your report card, along with your final first quarter grades for each class. They'll be listed there. Now, alongside of that, you'll see information about your absences, how many times you missed a particular class or class period. You'll see that information on there. And then the next section over will be comments. So if any of your teachers left you a comment about your class or attendance in a particular class, that will show up in this section here. And then you'll be able to tell what those comments are by looking at the bottom of your report card here. They correspond to a certain comment, so you can see it that way. Additionally, on your report card, kind of the next section down after your classes and grades, you'll see information about state testing and service learning. So this is how you can tell. The very first line tells you information about service learning, whether or not you've met that requirement, how many hours you need to do, and how many hours you've earned to date. So that's a good idea for students to check on to make sure that that's something you're planning for to complete by the time you graduate. The next section is information about state testing. Can you all hear me? Ms. Redmond said that she cannot hear me. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. So the next part there is information about state testing. And this has information letting you know whether or not your state testing in a particular subject has been met or not met. For those of you who can't hear me, I have no idea what's happening. What I will do is upload this presentation, and hopefully the recording will have that information and we can share it with you tomorrow to present in your classes. So we can work on that. But I want to keep rolling so we have enough time to get through everything for those who can hear. So back to the state testing. If a student hasn't taken a test, like for example, if you're a 9th grade student and you haven't yet taken government, that is going to default on here and tell you that you have not met your government state test. And I understand that that might cause you to panic, but if it does, if you haven't taken it, it's going to show up as not met. So do not panic. It could also mean if you haven't met a requirement that you just haven't had the opportunity to take it yet. So if you have any questions about your state testing, you can ask your teacher in that particular subject or email or come by and see your counselor. We can help out with that as well. The next section is information about athletics. It will let you know whether or not you are eligible for the upcoming winter sports season. That information will be there. Then there's information in the lower right-hand corner here about your attendance, how many days you missed, whether they were illegal or legal absences, and the total number of absences and the total number of tardies or early releases. So that's a really good picture to see how you're doing this year when it comes to attendance. In the middle here, it has information about your GPA, your current year-to-date and cumulative GPA, and we'll hear a little bit more about that in a few minutes. If you need honor roll, that information is below your GPA section. It'll tell you that there. And then on the right-hand side is a little bit more information about our grading scale, because you may have heard that you get a bump or extra credit for taking AP courses. So that is the grading scale that we use. So just wanted to familiarize everyone with their report card and what they're looking at. The next thing I want to talk about is what it takes to pass a class. This is a big thing. We're only a quarter into the school year, so no one is doomed at this point when it comes to passing. However, it is all about points, the number of points you earn each marking period. So in order to fail, or in order to pass a full year class, you must have earned a total of at least 240 points for a full year course. So what that averages out to be is 60 points each quarter. Now, it gets a little bit different if you have a half year or a semester course like a PE, health, financial literacy, anything of that sort. For those type of classes, you only need 120 points. So what you can sort of do to see what you would need is add up your marking period grades, each one of those, and see what they total. So right now, some of you may have noticed for a full year course, or a semester course, your grade may have bumped up to a 50. So what that means is for full year courses, for the first 3 marking periods of the year, if you end up with a grade that is below a 50, your final end of the quarter grade, your marking period grade is less than a 50, it will be bumped up to a 50. So what that means is if you have a 50 in the first quarter, what that means is for the next 3 quarters, you need to at least get a 64 each quarter for a full year class in order to pass for a year, to get those 240 points and be where you need to be. Now, additionally, if you have a semester course or a half year course and you got a 50 for the first marking period, you need to get at least 70 in your next quarter, your next marking period, so that you can pass that class and earn that credit. And then when it comes to the 50 bump, you will get a bump for your full year courses in the first, second, and third marking periods. The 50 will come into play if you're below a 50. But that fourth marking period, you get what you get. There's no increase in grades. There's no bump up to a 50. Now, for a semester course, the first quarter that you're in that course, whether it's now the first quarter, or if you're taking something the next half of the year, the second half of the year, third quarter or first quarter, the first quarter you're in that class, your grade will get increased to a 50. But second quarter or second time you're in that class, second quarter you're enrolled in that class, your grade is what it is. So it's important to know that so you can know how many points you need to pass the class and move on and earn your credits, because ultimately high school is very important about earning those credits. So now, Dr. Perry's going to talk about GPA.
All right, thank you. So your current GPA corresponds with the quarter that we are in. So currently we are in quarter 1. So that is what your current GPA will reflect, okay? This is what is used for your honor roll and athletic eligibility. Year to date means the GPA for each year, all right? And then your cumulative GPA is your GPA grade point average for every quarter earned in high school. So that is your average of all of the quarters, okay? This is what colleges and scholarships will review. So we can move on to the next slide. Thank you. All right, so let's talk about athletic eligibility. You are required to get a 70% GPA with no more than one failing grade. But let's look at this example right under it. As you can see, there is one failing grade for all of the classes. However, this student got D's as well as C's and 1B. So we want to make sure that we're doing the best that we can, because still pulling low grades will get you under the 70% that you need to be eligible. Eligibility is based on your report card. You can become ineligible in the middle of the season, all right? So once that report card hits, if you have below a 70%, that could get you under the requirement for eligibility. Your interims can help you actually, and they can help you to be eligible, but they cannot make you ineligible. So make sure that we're looking at our interims before a report card hits so we can see if we're in danger of becoming ineligible for athletics. Thank you.
And now Ms. Gray will share information about grade levels and credits.
All right, so what do you need to know to move forward to the next grade? It's very important that you know your credits, what you need to move on to the next grade level. So for instance, 9th graders, in order to become a 10th grader, you would have to earn at least 5 credits, and you would have to also pass your English. Same thing, 10th grade to 11th grade, you need to earn 11 credits and pass 2 Englishes. That's your 9th and 10th grade English. And then 11th to 12th grade, in order to move on to be that senior, you have to have earned at least 17 credits and pass 3 Englishes. The credits that you need to graduate is 22.5 credits for this year's seniors. And then 23 credits for the class of 25 and beyond. And this was just changed from the Board of Education. So you guys kind of looked out there. It used to be 24 credits and 23 credits for 23 and a half credits for current seniors. Go to the next slide. All right, so the takeaways is, I can't really see that, Ms. Ponte, I'm sorry. All right, so the takeaways are, I'll just look at my other screen, is if you do not have a successful first quarter, which Ms. Ponte kind of talked to you about, you can still get your grades up and in order to pass the classes. And that's what Ms. Ponte was kind of telling you about, to make sure that just because you had a bad quarter does not mean that you won't be able to pass the class. The next takeaway would be each quarter matters. So your cumulative GPA is what is reported to colleges and scholarships. So you need to really stay focused on that. And if you need help with knowing what your GPA is or calculating your GPA, you can always come and talk to one of your counselors. Your GPA is on a 4.0 scale, so it's important that you know that an A equals 4, a B equals 3, and you can look at C, 2, D, 1. So in order to calculate your GPA, you would add all of those up and divide it by how many classes that you're taking. And in this case, you're taking 7 classes. And then if you need help with that, we can always help you with that. Thank you.
So in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see the grading scale. So the marking period percent grades, they will tell you what you earn on the 4.0 scale. So the first column tells you the percent. So if you earned a 93% through a 100%, you receive a 4.0 on that scale. 90 to 92%, a 3.7, 87 to 89, a 3.3, 83 to 86, a 3.0, and so on and so forth. On the right-hand column, you will see the 4.0 scale for the AP courses. As Ms. Ponte said earlier, those courses are weighted higher. So if you earn a 93% to a 100%, you will earn a 5.0 GPA point for the AP course. Okay, so if you need to know more information about your cumulative GPA, current GPA, and how it's calculated based on the percentages, this is a scale that you can use.